Today we're going to talk a little bit about addressing the problem and not the symptom. For example, let me use myself as one. About like 3 to 4 years ago, I had some very irritating sensation on my Achilles. It was so frustrating. I would think I'm fine. I'd be walking and then I'd go skate and I'd pop, do a couple like 4 or 5 pops, and I would feel it kind of tighten up. And it was so frustrating because it was always the same feeling, and it felt like my ankle, like I'd pop and it would kind of lock here. Like it would be scared to do this. And this is my feet, by the way. I'm imitating my feet. And it would just be very frustrating because when I looked at videos to try to fix it, they would say, oh, well, it's probably because your calves are tight, because you've been walking a lot, too much impact. But they never told me the bigger picture. And the bigger picture, just to give it to you shortly, is you have other parts of your body that are trying to accommodate your movements accordingly, right? So if I pop from one side of my foot, my Achilles is not supposed to take all of that load, all of that impact. What's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to be able to hinge my glutes, medius and medius. Those are like different parts of the glute. That's supposed to fire. One of them supposed to stabilize. The other one's supposed to generate, stabilize the. One's supposed to stabilize the knee. The other one the hip, and they all contribute at that same time, right? It's not like one clicks and then the next one clicks and then the next one clicks. I just say it like that to help us think about it, but really it's supposed to help stabilize the whole movement so that we can generate, and the Achilles is there to spring, right? The thing is, though, I had a very weak, I forget which one it is, but the one that stabilized the hip. So my knee would feel kind of stable, but then my hip would be shifting to the right. And, throughout the years, I just learned how to address it, and I've approached training very differently. But long story short, this applies to everything. If your wrist hurts, you know, why do you keep hitting the wrist, right? Why can't you catch yourself with this part of the hand? Why can't you just catch and roll? Do you not feel safely going onto your shoulder? Do you just this hurt too much that you just reactively catch yourself with your palm? How would I say? Are you scared of falling, so you try to, catch yourself very stiffly with your hands? Let me see. Can you not hinge enough so when you fall, you just slam to the floor instead of going legs, hip, and then roll, right? We got to ask these questions because it's a bigger picture. It's a whole body issue. It's not just as simple as, oh, my elbow hurts, I need to fix my elbow. No, your elbow is supposed to flex and extend. And if you can't flex and extend, what muscles? Look, okay, when I extend, I'm using my triceps. When I flex, the biceps. So if I can't do this, is it possible that I might have something up with the biceps and the triceps? Maybe that's too tight. If I'm like this and I feel stiff on my board and I can't turn my shoulders comfortably, or bring out my chest accordingly, just like throughout my movements, can that be because I have so much tension here from picking up things repetitively or whatever it is, Okay, and so once you realize that it's not simply that you just can't do one motion, but it's because of certain parts of your areas are restricted or even weak, you start to think about, okay, how do I address that? Because it affects everything else. And so one thing, I hope I'm making sense. I'm kind of going on a tangent, but one thing is just like you know, looking for things that are gonna solve the bigger picture, right? I can stretch, but that's only a temporarily. That's only a temporary. Damn, I can't say temporarily. Wow. Temporary. There we go. It's only a temporary release. You get what I'm saying? With if you do something like deep tissue massage, you're gonna be able to release that fascia and then work on your movements without tension, right? I'm all over the place. Correct your movements and address the problem, not the symptom, at the for the bigger picture. Wow, I just had like 10 brain farts back to back. Crazy. Let me see what you guys are saying. Would you rather... What? Would you rather watch a tree grow or a knee grow? Wow, that's hilarious. You're funny. All right, ever seen the live action Titan? Damn. Gnarly. You all are gnarly. I'm talking about correcting your body function. Regardless, that's it for me today. Feel free to comment and check out the rest of my YouTube videos. But I'll leave it at that. Have a good rest of your day. I'm gonna go skate. It's a little gloomy, but you know what? That's not gonna stop us. And I'll see you later. Exit.